Hey guys! So this week I am presenting on Noah Webster. Noah was born on October 16th, 1758 in Hartford, Connecticut. He was the son of Mercy and Noah Webster Sr. Noah was a very, very bright, smart boy. He attended Yale University at the age of 17. He then later became a teacher and studied law in Litchfield, Connecticut. While Noah was a teacher, he realized how bad the school systems were, and he wanted to figure out a way that he could help the Americans teach their kids better and better the school system so that they were more successful and that the rising generation would be smarter and know how to go about things. One of the problems within the school systems is that the ratio between teachers and students was way too high. There were about 100 students per one teacher, which would make it hard for the teachers to fully comprehend and be able to understand each child's learning techniques and the best way that they learn. This relates to what we've been talking about lately with the different strategies and the different ways of teaching and going about teaching different people in different classes. When there are way more students than there are teachers, it's hard for the teachers to get to know the students individually and know how they learn and the different strategies and the different techniques. If a teacher knows how to make each student learn the best, then the students will have a better education and they'll be able to feel more comfortable in the classroom. The other negative in the classrooms that Noah was seeing was that all the books that the children were learning from were from England. And he thought this was not okay and that the Americans should be able to learn from something that their own people developed and wrote. These problems in the classroom led to his first advancement in writing the English language, which is also known as the blue-backed speller. It taught Americans how to read, spell, and pronunciation. A few years after this great advancement, Webster married Rebecca Greenleaf. She was a daughter of a very wealthy man, which was kind of intimidating for Webster because he came from a semi-poor family who couldn't always afford law school. So Webster married Rebecca and they had 8 kids throughout their marriage. Then shortly after he married Rebecca, in 1801, he started to define words in the English language. Not only did he start to define words, but he also changed the spelling of some of the original English spelling. So, for example, he changed the word color from C-O-L-O-U-R to C-O-L-O-R, and music to M-U-S-I-C instead of M-U-S-I-C-K. Those were huge advancements. They weren't necessarily that important because they still meant the same thing. They were just a little different in the spelling. But that is what made the English language very unique and very important in identifying who we are as a country. His next advancement was in 1806. He published a book called the Compendious Dictionary of the English Language. It took him 22 years to complete, and this book had definitions of 37,000 words. This book not only had new ways of spelling and definitions, but it also had definitions of words that were unique to the American culture instead of just straight from England or Britain. By the year of 1828, he had defined 65 to 70,000 words, and these words were published in the American Dictionary of the English Language, which was sold back then for about $20. Another major contribution that Noah Webster completed was the revision of the Bible in 1833. Because he had helped revise the Bible, many authors such as Emily Dickinson relied on him for definitions, and they used those definitions and words in their scholarly quotes, which makes it so that nowadays even people use those definitions, those same exact ones that were created many, many, many years ago. Some other small yet large advancements that he helped contribute to were the passing of the copyright laws. This contribution made him known as the father of the American copyright. He was very involved in the government, which made it possible for him to meet with President Andrew Jackson and help persuade Congress to pass this law that made it so that people couldn't steal other people's work. He also was a part of the abolition of slavery. He was a big advocate for better education, which led to him writing his own textbooks. And on the side, he also edited magazines. Another big contribution was he helped found the Amherst Academy in Massachusetts. The goal of this academy was to help people become correctly educated, and so that later in life and in the rising generation, they'll be able to know how to handle situations. This academy started out very small with only about 100 girls and about 90 boys, and now is Amherst College. It's a very liberal school, and it is focused on creating good morals and people who know how to go about political situations. Just a few years before Noah Webster died, in 1840, his second edition was published, and then in 1843, he passed away. He was known as the father of American scholarship and education and the father of American English language. He was also known as defining the national identity. When Noah Webster died, George and Charles Merriam took over the dictionary, and they were able to get the dictionary down to about $6 a copy, and that dictionary is now called the Merriam-Webster Dictionary. I hope you guys have enjoyed learning about Noah Webster as much as I have. I had no idea what the history was behind the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, and the fact that Noah Webster himself defined so many words and brought America together and defined who they were and defined our language. It's truly amazing to look back at the history of little things like this and make you appreciate something small in your everyday life.